Ladies and gentlemen, let us delve into a truth that many of us grapple with but often fail to fully understand. Why do people who once hurt us come back into our lives? The answer lies not in them, but in us. Life is a mirror reflecting our inner world. The people who enter and re-enter our lives are drawn to the vibration we emit, the energy we hold within. When someone who hurt us comes back, it's not a random act, it's a powerful opportunity for growth, healing, and self-realization. You see, the pain they caused is not the defining moment. The defining moment is how we responded to it. Did we hold on to resentment, allowing it to fester and shape our perception of the world? Or did we use it as a catalyst to rise, to transform, to understand ourselves better? People return to our lives because there is unfinished business, a lesson we haven't fully learned, or an energy we haven't completely released. They come back because we attract what we focus on, consciously or unconsciously. If we have not resolved the emotions tied to them, be it anger, sadness, or even love, our energy calls them back. But here's the empowering truth: their return is not about them. It's about you. It's about the version of you that still needs clarity, closure, or confidence to fully let go or redefine the relationship. This is your chance to break the cycle, to set boundaries where there were none, to express forgiveness where bitterness once lingered, to choose peace over pain. The only reason they come back is because your soul knows you are ready to face this chapter with newfound strength. Their return is an echo of the energy you once gave but are now strong enough to reclaim. When someone who hurt you comes knocking again, don't see it as a curse or a mistake. See it as a gift. A gift to show yourself how far you've come and how far you're willing to go in honoring your own worth. Life doesn't bring people back to test you, it brings them back to show you your growth. Step into that growth and let the power of your transformation shine. Life constantly mirrors our inner world, reflecting back the energy we carry within us. When people come back into our lives, it's often a response to the unresolved vibrations we emit. Their reappearance isn't accidental, but a reminder of the emotional state we project. Every interaction we have is like a ripple in the ocean of our consciousness. Their return is simply the universe responding to the signals we've sent out. Unresolved emotions act as invisible threads that tie people to us, even when they've moved on physically. The energy of hurt, confusion, or attachment can magnetically pull them back into our orbit. These connections are not about their intent, but the unresolved energy within us. Life orchestrates these moments to help us confront what we haven't released. It's an invitation to heal the invisible bonds that still linger in our hearts. The subconscious is a powerful magnet, constantly attracting experiences that reflect our inner state. Whether through thoughts, memories, or emotions, we send out signals that draw similar vibrations back. When someone returns, it's often because our subconscious still holds their energy. This is a chance to reflect on what we're carrying within. It's not about blame, but understanding the power of our inner world. When someone reappears, it's often a sign of unfinished lessons we need to learn. Life doesn't bring people back without purpose, there's always a reason. Perhaps it's about forgiveness, closure, or recognizing our own worth. These encounters push us to face what we've avoided or suppressed. It's through these lessons that we truly grow and evolve. Their return is not a punishment, but a chance to heal old wounds. The universe gives us opportunities to rewrite painful narratives and transform them into wisdom. This process allows us to take control of our story, choosing growth over stagnation. Instead of focusing on the pain they caused, focus on the lessons you can extract. Healing happens when we shift from blame to understanding. Pain is not meant to break us, but to shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. When someone comes back, it's often because there's still growth to be had. Pain serves as a mirror, showing us the areas in need of healing and attention. By facing it head-on, we unlock parts of ourselves that were previously dormant. Their return is a reminder that every challenge carries the seed of transformation. Holding on to resentment only chains us to the past, keeping us from moving forward. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is like a key that unlocks the door to freedom. When people come back into our lives, it's often an opportunity to choose forgiveness over bitterness. This doesn't mean condoning their actions, but releasing the hold they have on our emotions. Forgiveness frees us more than it frees them. When someone returns, it's a reflection of our growth, not theirs. It's a sign that we've evolved enough to handle the situation differently. We may now have the strength to set boundaries or choose not to engage. Their presence highlights how far we've come since the initial hurt. This is our opportunity to show ourselves that growth is the ultimate victory. Healthy boundaries are a declaration of self-respect and self-respect. When someone comes back into our lives, it's a chance to redefine the terms of the relationship. We no longer have to accept behavior that undermines our peace. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges to healthier connections. Setting them is an act of love toward ourselves. The universe aligns encounters not by chance, but by purpose, orchestrating them for our evolution. When someone reappears, it's often because there's still a lesson to be learned. These moments are divinely timed to help us grow beyond our current limitations. Trust that these encounters are for your highest good, even if they seem painful. Every meeting serves a purpose in the grand design of your life. We attract the energy we haven't fully released, even if it's tied to painful memories. If someone returns, it's often because we haven't let go of the emotions connected to them. This is not a fault, but a sign that healing is still in progress. By addressing what we're holding on to, we can finally break the cycle. Releasing the past is the first step toward creating a new future. Emotional cycles tend to repeat until we consciously break them. When someone comes back, it's often because a pattern is still playing out. This is our chance to identify and dismantle these recurring themes. By understanding the cycle, we can prevent it from continuing in the future. Awareness is the key to breaking free from emotional loops. Healing doesn't always require closure in the form of confrontation or reconciliation. When someone returns, it's often an opportunity to find closure within ourselves. We don't need their apology or acknowledgement to move on. True healing happens when we decide to let go, regardless of their actions. It's about reclaiming our peace and power. The reappearance of someone from the past tests our emotional resilience and growth. It's easy to fall back into old patterns or emotions when faced with familiar faces. But this is a moment to demonstrate how far we've come. By staying grounded and true to ourselves, we pass the test with grace. Emotional strength is built through these challenging encounters. Relationships are mirrors of our beliefs about ourselves and the world. When someone returns, it's an opportunity to examine what the relationship reflects about us. Perhaps it highlights areas where we need to grow or boundaries we need to enforce. These reflections are valuable tools for self-discovery and transformation. By understanding the mirror, we better understand ourselves. The need for validation from others often keeps us tied to the past. When someone comes back, it's a chance to let go of seeking their approval. We can choose to validate ourselves instead, recognizing our inherent worth. This shift in perspective frees us from the need for external affirmation. Self-validation is the foundation of true confidence. Toxic patterns cannot survive in the presence of self-love and self-respect. When someone returns, it's a chance to reinforce the love we have for ourselves. We no longer have to tolerate behavior that diminishes our light. Self-love repels negativity and attracts healthier connections. It's a powerful shield against repeating the past. The people who hurt us often mirror unhealed parts of our own story. Their return gives us an opportunity to address these wounds and grow from them. By understanding what they represent, we can heal the parts of ourselves they reflect. This is not about blame, but about self-awareness and growth. Healing these parts transforms how we interact with others. The pain of the past can be transformed into the wisdom of the present. When someone returns, it's a reminder of the growth we've achieved since the initial hurt. We can use their presence as a milestone to measure our progress. The past no longer defines us, it simply informs the strength we've gained. Growth is the ultimate response to pain. Forgiveness is not about excusing their actions, but freeing ourselves from the burden of resentment. When people return, it's an opportunity to choose peace over pain. Forgiveness allows us to reclaim our power and move forward with clarity. It's a gift we give to ourselves, not necessarily to them. In forgiving, we find freedom. The energy of unresolved pain often echoes through time, pulling people back into our lives. These echoes are not meant to haunt us, but to help us address what's unresolved. Their return is a signal that healing still needs to take place. By facing these echoes, we quiet the noise of the past. Resolution brings peace that ripples into the future. True peace is something we cultivate within ourselves, independent of others' actions. When someone reappears, it's a chance to reaffirm our inner peace. We don't need their apology or approval to feel whole. This peace is unshakable because it comes from within, not from external circumstances. By choosing peace, we transcend the past. Every encounter carries a spiritual message if we're open to receiving it. The return of someone who hurt us is no exception. It holds meaning for our growth. Their presence invites us to look deeper, to find the lesson hidden within the pain. By embracing this perspective, we transform their return into a stepping stone. Life always speaks to us in ways that inspire growth. We have the power to rewrite the narrative of pain into one of strength and wisdom. When someone returns, it's an opportunity to reclaim the story as our own. We are not victims of the past, but authors of our present and future. By reframing the narrative, we transform pain into purpose. Our power lies in the stories we choose to tell ourselves. Let their return remind you of the power you've cultivated in setting boundaries. Once their actions may have defined your reactions, but now you stand firm in your self-worth. Boundaries are not about exclusion, but about prioritizing your peace. Their presence now offers a chance to reaffirm these lines you've drawn. This is your moment to honor the value you've placed on your well-being. Nostalgia often clouds the reality of a connection, making it seem more significant than it is. When someone returns, it's vital to distinguish between memories and the present. What once was doesn't have to dictate what is now. This clarity helps you stay grounded in reality rather than living in the shadows of what could have been. By seeing things as they are, you reclaim control over your emotions. Old connections often return when you've reached a new level of self-awareness. They test the boundaries of your growth, challenging you to respond differently than before. It's not about falling back into old habits, but stepping forward with new wisdom. These encounters show you how far you've come and where you still have room to grow. They are reminders of the person you've worked hard to become. The quality of our relationships reflects the energy we bring into them. When someone reappears, it's a chance to assess how your energy has shifted. Are you attracting healthier dynamics, or are old patterns resurfacing? This reflection allows you to realign with the kind of relationships you truly deserve. Growth shines brightest when you honor your own energy. Triggers lose their power when healing takes place, transforming past wounds into strength. The return of someone who once hurt you offers a chance to see how you've grown. Where once their words or actions might have caused pain, now they're met with calm. This shift is a testament to the inner work you've done. Their presence no longer defines your peace. Each reappearance is an opportunity to embrace the lesson without clinging to the person. Life doesn't require you to hold on to everyone who passes through it. Instead, you are invited to take what you've learned and move forward. Their return is a reminder to cherish the lesson, not the attachment. Growth happens when we release what no longer serves us. The power of your inner magnetism is evident when people return unprompted. It's not about what they want, but what your energy attracts. Their return reflects the undeniable strength you've cultivated within. This magnetism reminds you of your ability to influence your reality. Own your power and use it to draw the right people into your life. Love for yourself means letting go of connections that don't align with your growth. When someone returns, it's a chance to reaffirm that love by not settling for less. This self-love creates a foundation that protects you from toxic cycles. The way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. Choosing yourself is the greatest act of love you can give. The past is a teacher, not a destination, and their return invites you to learn, not linger. When you encounter someone from your past, let it be a moment of reflection, not regression. Growth is about taking the wisdom from your experiences without letting them anchor you. Their presence now shows how far you've come, not how far you've fallen. Celebrate the distance you've traveled on your journey. Closure is an internal process, not something you need from someone else. Their reappearance often signals that you have everything within you to find peace. Let go of the idea that they hold the key to your healing. True closure is about accepting what has been and choosing to move forward. You control the narrative now, and that's the ultimate freedom. Emotional patterns are like scripts, repeating until rewritten with intention. When someone returns, it's a chance to consciously choose a different response. This is your opportunity to step out of the old story and create a new chapter. Recognize the recurring themes and decide what role you'll play this time. Breaking the cycle starts with a single decision to change. Not everyone who returns deserves a second chance in your life. Their presence is not an obligation to reopen doors you've closed. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is knowing when to say no. Their reappearance is a chance to stand firm in your decisions and trust your judgment. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. Detachment doesn't mean indifference, it means choosing freedom over control. When someone re-enters your life, let it be a moment to practice letting go without bitterness. You can care for someone without needing them to stay. Detachment allows you to love freely without being bound by expectations. This freedom is the foundation of inner peace. Forgiveness is powerful, but it doesn't always require reconnection. When someone who hurt you comes back, it's your choice whether to let them in. Forgiving them doesn't mean forgetting the lessons their actions taught you. It's about releasing the emotional hold they have on your heart. Reconnection is optional, peace is mandatory. Every time someone returns, it's a chance to celebrate your growth rather than question it. Their presence no longer has to shake your foundation or disrupt your peace. Instead, see it as a reflection of the work you've done on yourself. Their return becomes a marker of your progress, not a step back. Embrace the opportunity to honor how far you've come. Letting go of guilt for moving forward is an act of self-liberation. When someone returns, you don't owe them your time or energy simply because of shared history. Moving on doesn't make you heartless, it makes you wise. Your growth isn't something to apologize for, it's something to celebrate. Release the guilt and step boldly into your future. The energy we carry determines the patterns we repeat in our lives. When someone comes back, it's an opportunity to examine what part of your energy called them. This is not about blame, but about awareness and choice. By shifting your energy, you can shift the kind of connections you attract. Growth begins with understanding the vibrations you emit. Healing old wounds means their return no longer holds the same weight it once did. Triggers that once caused pain now become reminders of your resilience. You can meet their presence with calm, knowing they no longer have the power to hurt you. This is the freedom that comes with healing, the ability to stand strong, regardless of the past. Not everyone deserves a place in the future you're building. When someone reappears, it's a chance to evaluate if they align with your new path. Holding on to every connection is like carrying unnecessary baggage on a long journey. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care, it means you value your destination more. Choose wisely who you allow to walk with you. Learning to detach without bitterness is a gift you give to yourself. Their return is a chance to practice loving from a distance when necessary. You can appreciate the lessons they brought without clinging to the connection. Detachment doesn't mean shutting down, it means staying open without being tied. It's a balance that ensures your peace. When someone returns, it's a chance to redefine your terms of engagement. You no longer have to accept relationships on their terms alone.